future citizen membership status as citizens of the Imperial Micronational Lodge of Varangia. Now, currently we have only public servants, let's say governmental officials, as member citizens in our micronation of Varangia. A second. That's more comfortable. Yes. What we're offering now to people who just want to consider themselves to be non-governmental officials as citizens in our micronation is a status called freehold citizenship, wherein later we'll add you to the rolls once we get a new CPU for our computer to keep a record of your citizenship in the micronation of Varangia. The economy we have is what you might call, we're planning on a traditional economy. People work for it, people contribute to it. It's voluntary. Make contributions. For the time being, that's what we're going to be doing. We have a selected site for gaining property for a territory we have singled out in Washington State, where there is now currently living a government official of our micronation by the name of Stephanie Fraley, who is head of the guilds. Otherwise, it's all hanging it's up in the air. We're not what you would call a observer status micronation. We are a standby micronation until we can gain some territory. I plan on moving up there someday, a long time from now. I'll probably get lots of money and get past a lot of legal red tape that I'm not willing to go into at this point in time. Yeah. My bling, these must be desired. I have on the princely medallion, which I'm going to exchange for Prince Elector medallion, and have the status of Margrave in the system of the Pomeranian Livonian micronation to give me more credentials status to be qualified to be a font of honors for this micronational lodge of Varangia. There's 3 orders, I already explained that before. I head up the military order. Michelle Fraley and Paul Stewart head up the chaplains department, the Temple of the Elven Dawn in Florida. Let's see. Stephanie. She heads up the council of the guilds. Anybody can join the guilds. The main purpose of the military order was for people of Germanic background, though, who wish to celebrate their Germanic heritage. But we let in a few other people who are not really Germanic once in a blue moon. If you have gained high merit within our micronation, showing exemplary performance and service to the micronation. And then, of course, people interested in spiritual matters, more than anything else, you would be welcome as one of the chaplains or lay chaplains in my cousin Michelle's order. But for now, there's no computer. I'm sorry to say, my computer crashed twice. Got rid of the first computer, got rid of the second computer. Now all I have is like a computer screen. I got a computer screen over here with a keyboard, some speakers that are Bluetooth, and got a microphone over there somewhere. I don't know where it's at. Yeah, there it is. Anyway, my office is very small now. Hypothetically, if I get married someday, that'd be a boost to my personal economy. I could move out and talk to my would-be wife into moving out west, where that's where our territory is going to be. We'll purchase some property. Those are my tentative plans. We already have a representative of our government out there right now, Stephanie, and yeah, that's a representative out there in Washington State. In the future, once we get this territory, we'll develop an agrarian system for our economy. Growing vegetables and so forth. Maybe have a rabbit hutch, raising some rabbits. Let's have some chickens. Yeah. Having our feast days toward the end of the year. I'm afraid none of them are pagan, by the way. I hate to disappoint anybody, but they're just regular holidays, to celebrate life and giving thanks for what we've got to God. If you elect to belong to that belief system, the person to go see and consult with on those matters is Stephanie Fraley, because the laws of the temple, the second order, doesn't really apply because they have a different citizenship status. It's that simple. We would call them an observer status. So, saying that, I want to reassure everybody that no one is going to be hassled for their philosophy or religion. It's not that kind of organization. We want to encourage people to feel free to be who they are as individuals. And you don't have to sign up to the military order to get ranked as a prince or as a duke or whatever. Although you can if you want to. The system out in Washington State is going to be totally different in that there's going to be a council, an oligarchical council with its own democratic process according to the book Robert's Rules of Order. The Oversight Committee, headed up by Elizabeth Floyd, is studying that to be familiar with it. She has to have people beneath her as members of the board, the Oversight Committee, to help her make decisions and to inform her and to advise her. So we're looking for people for that. That's the only reason I brought her up, because she needs assistance. And anybody in the Society of Creative Anachronism feels interested in it, you may apply to me directly once I get the website up. That's when we'll be getting the official citizenship status established in our government. Basically, you just want to be an ordinary citizen. Let's say you want to be a merchant, a bard, you want to be a smithy, an artisan of some type, not having any real rank, just what you call a part of the gentry or the gentry society, what do you call it, a sorority society. That's perfectly acceptable. You'd have to report to Stephanie to do that out in Washington State. But yeah, that's perfect. You'd be part of the third order, the order of the guilds. No need to fool around with highfalutin ranks and bounded people and stuff. It's more like a democratic operation there. But the oligarchy is like a group of people who are there for life. To serve for life. When one of them steps down, it means they retire, and someone else steps in for them. Probably serving for like 20 or 30 or maybe 40 years, whatever they please. And if you wonder how things operate that way, I think that's how it works. Excuse me. Yes. And it's like that with our whole governmental system. I would never step down unless I had someone to take my place, I would have to grant them, however, a noble status next to that of royalty. The highest next to mine is Imperator Principality. I'm basically a chieftain who would take my place as emperor or empress. Yeah, if I become too, infirm in the mind, like dementia or something. That's what I would do. But the thing is, you have to codify things for these things to go into operation within one's own lodge. As with any governmental system in a micronation, you should always try to codify everything you do once you get your website up and running. Well, that's the only announcement I wanted to make. Like, I didn't choose to have a fireside chat. I decided here in my own office, which is also a bedroom, very small, very cramped for now. The topic being actual citizenship in the micronation of Varangia. What you have to do is simply declare yourself a citizen, and that means you're a freehold citizen until we get our website up and running and submit your name, a little information about yourself, like when you were born, your gender, and your name. Taxes are something that is voluntary. You give contributions to the organization directly to me, Paul Fraley, because the government doesn't recognize a micronation, even as a lodge. We have to do some legal wrangling first before we cross that bridge. Then when that happens, most likely, who's going to handle the bank transactions? Either, I haven't decided yet, either my cousin Michelle or my friend Wayne Pavey. These are people who are members of the lodge. How many are there? Well, let me count. There's like standby status on 2 of them. That's Brent Brown and Leo Kahn. We're not sure about them yet. They haven't committed yet. They're still thinking about it. Maybe Amy Westlake. I'm not sure. That would be 3. Let me see. Myself, my niece in Muncie, my niece in Washington State, my cousin and her husband in Florida, my friends, Wayne and Vicky, 7 so far. Yeah, I'm missing someone. Oh, Tawana Price, yeah, to be in charge of the Department of Agrarian Matters and Economy. Green Thumb Girl, giving advice how we should do things, how to go about creating a farm. I can't really think of anybody else off the top of my head. We would have just under 10, maybe around somewhere between 8 and 10 people in our government. But eventually we just have ordinary citizens, which is what this video is about. Welcoming you aboard as freehold citizens. For the time being, waiting for us to get the website up and running. So you can become full-fledged members of citizenship. And that's the topic. And I have nothing else to say, except to say this bling's got to go, buddy. I got to get new bling, a new crown, new medallion, some nice doves, and a king's robe. That's going to be cool for my next video if I manage to get it done. That robe costed like $50, man. And the crown is like $30. You know how much this costs right here? Almost $400. Wow. Yeah. Nobody ever said it's going to be easy. I have to spend money right now on research materials because I'm a writer. I'm making a notebook. And it's going to cost me like a little over $100 just for my materials for research. And after I'm done with that project, I'm going to go ahead and Either give away the books to somebody or throw them away. I don't have a library. I don't want that kind of library. The topic is on the occult. I might mail it to my niece out in Washington State if she wants it. Anyway, that's expensive. What I'm saying is, when I save up money to do something on a project, it's time consuming, which is why I'm saying everything is dragging its butt, taking a long, long time. And creating a micronation, basically a club, is what it is. They think we can run our own affairs as a sovereign entity. It's going to be a while. I would estimate about 5 or 6 years. This is the year 2025. It is now the 18th of September. Just past midnight here in Indiana on a Thursday morning. That's what I wanted to get out of the way, so people would understand where do we stand on the status of our own micronation. Eventually, we'll be making connections to other micronations by getting aboard on the internet list of micronations, hopefully. Simply to be known there as the micronation of Varangia. Now, why would we want to be a lodge? So we can have a charter and be recognized by the government as a chartered lodge. No other micronation has ever done this before in the history of micronations. They simply don't care about the recognition, or they don't have time to bother with it. It'd be an experiment. Now, this is only in the United States, you understand. The lodge chapters who practice administrative government. You can't do that in other countries. You'll lose your citizenship. But here with home rule law, we can form our own courts legally. It's like incorporating a town if you have property. Now, I don't want people to think that once that's done, you can go over to England or Wales and create your own lodge with the same circumstances. You can't. The administrative government there would mean that you are sitting on a council as part of a government official, and that would void your U.S. citizenship. Just a warning. Anybody else who's thinking of trying something like that. Our chapters are going to be mainly in the United States for now. But the other ones outside the United States, you cannot rely upon home rule law and administrative government because we can't associate ourselves with it. It would destroy us. We'd be people without a country. And they would probably take us off to Guantanamo or whatever the hell you pronounce that crazy word, or all the other so-called terrorists and everything else they consider to be unfit for U.S. citizenship, or, something of that nature. You get the drift. You get the gist of what I'm saying, right? Okay. Yeah, we have to be careful with our chapters overseas when we start that business, if somebody else starts after I'm dead or some nature like that. And everything has to be codified. And to start the meetings, we always apply Robert's Rules of Order, who gets to speak, who has the floor, in some form or another, even though it's the guilds or the military order or the order of chaplains. There has to be order in our courts. So saying, I've explained myself thoroughly, and it's merely an introduction, a door opening up to your citizenship in our micronation of Varangia. Originally founded on the concept of elven Vikings and our allies. Yeah, I know, but people don't understand the term elf is not really Anglo-Saxon. It does not mean ghost. It means divine hero. It came from the Nordic people. I want to sneak that in there before I sign off. Yeah, in other words, it's a warrior status. And that's the type of culture it is. And that's why we have a military order as the first order. The Imperial Military Order of Varangia, of Warhammer. I don't know how to quite phrase it. But that's basically the situation. And I bid you all adieu, goodbye, have a great life. That's it.